If you've ever had to break up 3 sibling fights before breakfast even started, I see you. And I probably see you this morning. But what I want to talk today is about why it is so important to build our kids up by really working on the sibling relationships. I am a mom of 5, and one of the most important things that I've seen in our family's life is trying to encourage and foster that relationship. The Bible says in Psalm 133:1, how good and pleasant it is when God's people live together in unity. And this is so true for outside the family, but even more so within the family. So I want to talk about some things that I am trying to do to really foster this relationship. So the first thing is to have this like daily praise habit. So we try to get around the table, whether it's at breakfast or whether it's at dinner, and everybody shares something about their sibling to the right or the left of them, of what they like about them, or give them an encouraging remark. So one might say, you said something really funny at the dinner table last night. One of my daughters said, oh, I really like your new water bottle that you have. But it's something nice and something that's encouraging. It's very easy. It's easy for adults to do this too, but it's even easier for kids to find things that are wrong and find like little critical points. And so having an intentional little behaviors where we are purposely trying to share something uplifting and positive can do a lot for those sibling relationships. I also find it helpful to take some of my kids one-on-one if they're having trouble with a certain sibling, and just reminding them of the things about that child that are really good and helpful. One of my kids, we have this routine. I think I talked about it in my video on money. And one of the things they have to do is to turn off the light in their room. And one of my kids reminded their sibling to do that. And so they ended up being able to get a point because that sibling reminded them to do so. And so I reminded that kid of what their sibling did. And that was the sibling they've been having a little bit more trouble with. And you say it, and you don't say it like in a completely judgy way, and you don't talk about it for 30 minutes, but you just kind of say it in passing. And I feel like that kind of helps in those little reminders. It's what you are feeding your brain and what you're feeding your kids' brains. What they think about day in and day out, what you dwell on really matters, because your words and your actions, they really stem from your heart, right? So that is another thing we do. Also, I try to take all of my kids on one-on-one dates where I'm just with them. Maybe I take them out to Target with me. Maybe I take them to go get ice cream with me once a month. But sometimes I will take them in pairs, especially if I feel like it would be really good for their relationship. And for example, I might take my girls. I find that sometimes girl and boy sometimes have more trouble than girl-boy. Not all the time, but there's just a little bit more conflict there. And so with the girls, I might take them upstairs in my bathroom, and we might all paint our nails together. And it's just a shared bonding experience, something that brings them together a little bit more, and something that's been really helpful to work on. My older kids, they are working on a startup together where they're like trying out their own company where they're just making like little meals for people. And it has given them like just a good place for positive experiences. When you create moments in your home and your life and that are fun and uplifting, I think that just encourages the growth there. Another thing we do, I'd say point 3, is that we tell our kids that they are best friends. And I found that a lot of people will say, oh, no, let's just let them play with their friends. Siblings don't need to be friends. But I find it is so important, especially as a Christian family. We go to a public school and they don't have a ton of Christian friends. I think like my daughter has like one in her grade. And so really a lot of that Christian encouragement is likely going to come from her siblings. And so being able to encourage those relationships and encourage them in that way has been really helpful for our family. And I think it's going to be more important as they get older and older. I really do want them to have a great relationship as they get older. It's really interesting I found a lot of people are either really close to their siblings or some of them are even estranged from their siblings or their family members. And I want to find ways to just build connections. Another thing I think is important is building traditions. So having things to look forward to as a family or as a sibling relationship that they can celebrate and do together. And I feel like that also builds like moments in your deep core for that type of connection. And finally, kind of goes along with that breakfast idea of sharing something about them, but also encouraging my kids to pray for each other. So important and so life-giving, and something that it's so easy to forget, but having that done is just another thing. Hope this video is encouraging to you, and I hope you have a beautiful day. I'll see you in the next video.